gas. No support in the bird, but it don't make me mad. Hit my bro for a feet, he ain't hit me back. Why? Call Manny up, bet he hit. Welcome to Pittsburgh Chatter, where I do interviews where I want, whenever I want, with who I want. And today I got a special guest and friend I've known for a long time, DJ. What's up, bro?
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
No, I appreciate you coming in. First of all, I didn't even, it's rare that you're in the city, so the fact that I was even able to get you in here on late notice and you contacted me back. Is this your first interview?
This is with you. This is the third time I did a podcast. This is the first time I did a podcast on video. The other one was just audio, so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, yeah, got you. All right, so let's start at the, because there's so much to talk about. All right, so let's start at the beginning. Where are you from?
Pittsburgh, obviously.
What exact spot are you from?
Hill District. You know what I mean?
That's crazy because a lot of people might not know that.
Definitely.
Because it started at Cliff, correct? And then you went to Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
We were neighbors for a long time. Me, you, Quentin, you know what I mean? For a long time.
And you lived up the street right next to the August Wilson's, his old house, yeah. So up there. And all right, so when you were little, did you what actually happened? Did you play for the Hill Disciples or did you play for what football league did you play for actually?
I played for I moved around a lot. So I played for the Disciples, I played for Moon Township, I played for Montour. Those are the three teams I played for.
Was there a favorite out of those three?
No, just cuz it's just about the game to me. I'm trying to produce wherever I'm at. You know, it wasn't about where I was at. It's just about me, you know what I mean? Like what can I do for my team no matter who my team is, you know what I mean?
Got you. All right. So I'd say the first time we ever met would probably be Miller, correct?
Definitely.
What grade was that?
It might have been second. It could have been
It couldn't have
third.
been kindergarten. So it had to be either first or second. Okay.
Basically, I remember walking to school, all types of stuff.
Oh,
man.
so you were at Cliff when you were going to Miller.
Yeah, that's where.
Because you went to the real Miller, not McKelvey. So a lot of people don't know that. Miller African Center, the actual on Miller Street. Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Okay. So one thing you did say was growing up on Cliff. We got to expand on this a lot because we're talking about basketball games, football games. Your cousin Arn had a pool. There's so much to do, and that has changed over time where it's not the same. It's like everyone's outside together. Just talk about that a little bit about what it was like actually growing up on Cliff.
No, it was crazy because how close we were. You would knock at my door, I would knock at your door, and on a minute's notice, we would all just be playing basketball. They don't really do that no more. You know what I mean? I feel like with social media, it's kind of ruined that in-person aspect where you can just everything's just so integrated to the point where I could just knock on my friend's door, and then we could just 20 of us, 10 of us playing basketball. And we used to play football.
But we did used to play the game inside sometimes.
Definitely.
But it was just it's quite the opposite of how it was now. It's they might go outside sometimes, but they're going to play the game. And where we were we could play the game, but we could go be outside, walking to the store, walking downtown. All right, hold on, because I don't want to get too far. I don't know if you remember that brick line, because it seems like some of these memories just might be.
You said brick line?
You remember the brick line? All right.
Oh, you talking about Young Brick?
All right, so you do remember.
Yeah.
You remember the line? You remember the line you used to always say? He's way better now, but at the time, it will.
I mean, I feel like he always had any artist has potential.
No, he's crazy now though.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
But he used to have the line that you. I remember you said it to me, and if you don't remember it, it's cool. You used to be here, now you're gone. Dinosaur.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember repeating that over?
I still think about that. I still think about that sometimes.
All right, I'm sorry. That's just a random thing I had to throw in there. All right, so then after Cliff, you moved to is it Moon or Robinson?
I moved Robinson Township, and I was in Moon as well. And then I moved back to Cliff. You know, we would always hang out no matter what. So I was always on the hill no matter what, especially middle school. You know.
No, cool. I think it was more which we're going to transition to in a little bit. It was more towards the high school where we started seeing you less. But you were doing so much with football, so there's not much you could really do. All right, so you have a big family. You have your mother, Shay. Then I know all your family. I have not met your little brother.
Oh yeah.
Because there's Shay, Byron, Dre, and then the newest one. So talk about them a little bit.
Oh man, it's just cool to just have brothers. You know, have people to always be there, and it starts with family, ends with family, and some of my friends are my brothers too, but
Mm-hmm.
there's blood is. I feel like it's super important to just have a
Mm-hmm.
good relationship if I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then at the time, all right, I just to throw out, who do you think was the best at games?
I think it all depends on what game. Like,
If we were to go with Madden, because we know that was the game that we would play majority of the time, maybe a
um,
little WWE, but Madden. Who do you think out of all your brothers that would have been the best?
you know what? Probably my littlest brother Dre.
Dre. Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good. He's like, but he is 6 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like for his age, he was very developed.
He was
In
keeping
terms
up
of,
with us, yeah.
exactly, for somebody that young to still be keeping up, he's pretty good.
Even on the football field, even when we were playing like free for all in the oh my gosh, why would you always go up with one hand? Bro, we would have the game on the line, be in the middle of the street, you throw a wide open pass to DJ, and you go up with one hand.
Mm, because that was probably the best play I could make on the ball at the time. Because sometimes you gotta do that.
Nah, bro. You could have went up with two. You could have went up with two. And we all right, cause like I'm not trying to jump over to high school immediately because we had one more memory. Tell me if I'm tripping. I think one time we went to your grandma's or your dad's house and they gave us frozen dinners. And I think what else did we do? We might have
Did a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah, I think we played catch a little bit. That was just, but that was just such a random day. Like
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
yeah. Okay. All right. Let's transition over. So middle school, where did you go?
I went to Moon, went to Montour, and I went to Greenfield Elementary. I mean, middle school. So I went to like a bunch of different places. It was fun.
So and then after that, now we're at the main. You're at Montour.
Mm-hmm.
Ninth grade, you're already playing football. No.
Mm-hmm.
Are you starting or you're still taking?
Yeah, I started pretty much every year. I didn't play 10th year because 10th grade year I wanted to take that year off.
Wait, didn't you get injured one year?
I did get injured my junior year. That's why I didn't I was still integrated into the lineup, but that's why I kind of caught up behind because I broke my wrist, so I didn't even get to play till the middle of the season.
Okay. So what was like? Cause I think I've been to Montour once, and it was when I think my soccer team had played them. So what was it like going to a school like that? That's far out.
It was cool, but like I said, it was just a school. I was just there to do my duties. I wasn't really having fun because.
And like a lot of people might think like this is a fake, bro. He's been like this straightforward answer my whole life. Every time I ask him a straightforward answer, no jokes, like just like well, no, sometimes jokes, side jokes, real quiet jokes, but yeah, it's just crazy. As times if nothing has changed over time. All right, so you're just focusing. Grades are good at this school. Is it hard? Like what's?
No, it wasn't hard. Grades were chill, but like I said, my main focus was just to get out of there as quick as possible and get on to the next. And then I did go to college for a little bit, but then I moved to California when I was 20.
So all right. Before we get into IUP, because you tried to skip over to the timeline. All right, before we get to IUP, so do you feel like you could have like went D1?
Yeah, definitely.
So what stopped you from doing that? Because did you go to IUP with intentions to play football?
I did, but what ended up happening was because I knew I was friends with Lenny Williams. He was the quarterback at Stowe. He was the quarterback at IUP. He was really good. I was working out with him a lot, and he was like, "Oh, you should come up." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of want to come up." And they got a really good program up there for football, a pretty decent program. So my intention was to go there, play for a little bit, and then transfer somewhere. But what ended up happening is I just didn't really feel it for the couple of days I was up there. So I ended up just going back home and just like, all right, I'll just go back next semester. But what ended up happening was I got signed to like a contract, and then I went to California from there.
Okay, so you're up IUP. So that's basically why you're just skipping over IUP because it's just like a quick.
Well, I didn't even literally didn't go to one class.
Oh,
so I literally never really went there. I was there for
more like a visitation.
It wasn't even that. I was enrolled to go, and then the second day I just ended up not going because I was like, I'm not really feeling it up here.
All right, well,
I didn't want to waste my money.
I can't get mad at that. That really pretty wraps up that. I mean, but before we go over to because your career, I have a ton of questions. I did my research, so you've done a lot, like a lot, like a ton. So we're going to get to that first. Do you have any memories of parties that we used to go to? Do you remember going to zoo or anything of that nature?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much remember the, you know what I mean.
I think
A
the
lot of
only
like
other party I went to outside of like zoo with you was probably Shayla's party.
definitely, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember a lot of that. It was fun. It was fun. I definitely remember that stuff.
Nah, we can't date. What happened to that song? That was,
You
you
know,
know,
it was a
you
great
were just
song, but
joking though, right? You weren't actually.
no, at the time, you know, I just wasn't interested in a serious relationship. And when I make music, it's just I'm just having fun. I'm not really serious because I feel like life's, you know, it's if you're serious all the time, it's not really, you know, fun, and it can get stressful. So when I'm making music, I'm just not really thinking about who's gonna listen to this. I'm just having fun. You know, I'm not releasing for and the quality was. I
But it
made
was
that.
catchy though.
It was funny. It was
Yeah,
funny.
it was like a
fun.
catchy. Like I could see somebody like using that for like a commercial or something. Now
It
go
was
like, we
funny.
can't date. No, we can't date.
But I'm at a different stage in my life, and I feel like I wouldn't say anything like that because I feel like that was kind of in a way disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's just like, I don't
But
know.
that's good because that shows evolution and that shows that you
Definitely.
evolved. So I'm not even mad at that. These are just little trinkets I have just thrown in here because this is stuff I remember. So I have to bring
That's
it up.
really funny.
All right, we're going now. Let's step into the career. All right, how did you get into modeling? Because I didn't. I was with you with maybe like for Light Up Night and a couple other things, and the next thing I know, I'm walking into Dick's Sporting Goods and I'm seeing you on the poster.
Hmm.
And for me, it's like, because usually people, when they say they're modeling, they start off slow. It didn't seem like it happened slow. It seemed like, bam, you were there. So, like, talk about the process, how you got into it, because you're saying you left IEP, you got the contract. So, what actually happened?
So I was actually working at this sporting goods as an employee just for 2 months, but I ended up getting fired because I was going up to school, and since I was going up to school, they didn't want to hire me for seasonal, so they were just like, "We'll just let you go." So it was like I wasn't really mad about it, but I was like, whatever. I could have worked there like on the off break, so I wasn't really cool with that management team. But then when I started modeling, I ended up going into an agency, and I never even really wanted to model. It never crossed my mind. But
Oh,
people,
trust me, I know, bro.
yeah, it never
Because,
crossed
like,
my mind.
it's crazy you got into modeling because,
Yeah.
bro, my whole life, you have not give a fuck about, like, clothes and stuff. Like, you just never really cared about that
Yeah,
stuff,
it
bro.
just never did.
You would have the flyest polo and polo jacket. I'll be like, bro, that's crazy. You'd be like, oh, okay, bro. Yeah, this is normal. All right, I mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
No, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just clothes. That's not who I am.
Mm.
But when I got older, I started realizing like representation and like when you walk into a building and they see you wearing stuff, they could change their perspective of you and they can create opportunities. So I started to actually pay attention to it and try to make it, you know, put it together.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
But, okay, so back to the how you got into it. All right, so you were saying that uh you had left Dick's Sporting Goods.
mhm.
That was done. And then, so how do you end up getting into the posters on there? And then what happens through this?
So I started doing some research, and when I left IUP, my parents were like, "You gotta get a job. You gotta get a job." And of course, I was trying to get a job, and I was applying to all types of places. And then, for some reason, I just was watching YouTube videos because I was into skit comedy, and I stumbled upon like agency stuff like that. And I looked at the requirements, and I was like, I might be able to do it. What's the hurt? What's like? Let me just try. So I ended up going into an open call at Doherty. And when I did the open call, they responded to me like 30 days later, and they were like, "We want to sign you." And I was like, "What? Like this is crazy." I was like,
Oh, he got blessed.
so yeah. So then my first audition was for Dick's Sporting Goods. And I ended up getting it, and then I just kept working with them. And then I auditioned for Route 21, and like I was basically getting everything that I got.
So it's Dick's Sporting Goods then Route 21. Before we jump over, so how do you think they felt after saying, like, even if it wasn't malicious, oh, okay, we have to let you go, and now every day you have to see your face in there, like walking in, like you don't think there was nothing that made you feel good about that, or it's just like,
No,
I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job. I'm not here to try to be stunting on people or anything. Like I don't,
Mhm.
you know, I don't think I'm better than anyone. It
Mhm.
is sad because it's like we could have been friends, but I don't even really know, like, remember anybody's face or name.
So it seems like me, even with like you had no ill intent, and it's just like God works in mysterious ways. It's like you
Mhm.
didn't even have to say anything. You didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah,
He kind of just
exactly.
blessed the situation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay. So then we got you said after Dick's Sporting Goods is Route 21. So what were you doing for them?
I was basically doing stuff for their e-commerce website,
Mm-hmm.
so they were just bringing me in like once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was like pretty good rate for my age at that time, so I was like just happy to just be
So
there.
can we talk about the money?
I,
Like,
I would prefer not to,
not to.
just because the clients and everything, like it could
We
be.
can't even talk about the early stuff, like Hollister and stuff. Like,
We could talk about the jobs. I just don't want to talk about the
about
rate
the
because I feel
okay,
like it's private
okay.
information that
I
with the
understand,
company. I don't want
and
to.
I know how you are. You're a humble person, so that answer goes right with how you are. So I can't even get mad at that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. You know, I just had to just see. Okay, so Route 21. After Route 21, what comes next? Was it Hollister after that? Because you were in. I remember I went to I think was it Robinson? Either no, not Robinson. Monroeville,
Hmm.
and I had seen you in there. So how did that come about?
So that was for the Dick's Sporting Goods thing. That was actually in all the Dick's stores in America. So when I
Mm-hmm.
went to California, but basically what happened was when I went to Doherty and I started doing well, I was like, maybe I can do well in a bigger market because Pittsburgh's a smaller market, so there isn't like a ton of opportunities
Mm-hmm.
for that profession. So what I ended up doing is I went to California and I ended up being signed by an agency, and that created more opportunities for me to even get on
So the
Hollister.
California jump was all right. I'm building traction. I've done everything I can do in
Hmm.
Pittsburgh. I have to leave Pittsburgh so I can further my career. So what agency was it next?
I went to LA Models, which is like pretty much one of the biggest agencies in Los Angeles.
And that's when everything blew up.
Not not really. Actually, it was a very slow start. Like the
Oh.
first 3 months, I didn't really book anything, but then I just started booking a lot, and I feel like that's just because I was like, it just kept going. I didn't quit, but I just in like in that industry, and in any industry, you just get hot. Like clients just start booking you randomly, so like that happened. But it did take me like a few months to get integrated, but once I got integrated, I started to do pretty well.
Okay. So all of these places just because we're talking about I've looked at it. We're
Hmm.
talking about like we've already talked about those three, so we're not gonna keep mentioning them. Then we're talking about you stepping in the Guess.
Hmm.
Then next thing you know, you're doing Ross, but not just the pictures, like you said, the e-commerce. You're doing actual commercials for Ross in
Hmm.
the video, and then it's crazy because it's so mind-boggling because you see these commercials all the time, and it's just random. You're like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
skip. And then it's different when you're like, I know that person.
Really.
That's DJ. And you're not even talking or nothing. And it's just like you're blending in, so it makes it look like you're a regular person, but you stand out to me because I know you. So it's just, it was just crazy. So, okay, so all of these, it's the same thing for every business. I'm guessing Guess. All of them just is same through the agency.
Yes.
Same thing with the commercials. So what was the first actual commercial you worked? Because that would be different. That's a different, like a stepping stone in a different direction, kind of.
So yeah, the reason I went into modeling was for me to transition into other opportunities. So my modeling agency, there was a commercial agency attached to it that basically a lot of big actors were signed to. So I went into them, and they ended up wanting to sign me, and they started sending me out. And the first audition they sent me out on was Ross,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in January. I had moved there in October, and I ended up getting it. So I was really grateful for that
Mm-hmm.
because that was like very rare to do something like
And
that.
you know the lineup of what came out. So what was after Ross?
Probably like Hollister and just Tilly's, which is a pretty big company in California.
So the NBA came like the little the closing where that came a little bit later.
That came in 2018, yeah,
Okay.
January 2018. So it was fairly early. I actually did that on my birthday.
So when you're doing this, do you get to keep the clothes? How does that work?
It really all depends on the client. Sometimes the client will be nice, like Guess, since I have a decent relationship with them. They give me free clothes sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time you don't. But the rate is good enough for you not to even have to ask for clothes. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Like if they're giving you a good rate, they shouldn't have to give you clothes too. You could buy the clothes with the money they're gonna give you.
Okay, this is gonna I'm a flex my researching skills because I found that little Easter egg of something. I see Maverick, and a lot of people have no idea where this is going. They might not even Maverick. Maverick is related to Logan Paul, so
Mhm.
that's his clothing brand. So before we even dive into that, did you get to meet Logan?
No, I didn't meet Logan.
Okay. You know I had to ask that because he's such a huge figure in the world, I guess you would say. Not for me, but for
Yeah,
some
I've met a
people.
ton of celebrities though, but just never Logan Paul.
Mhm.
You know,
So you just worked it was literally just through his business, I'm guessing, and you
Yep.
did that.
So he owns Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is that a
there,
sports clothing? What is
I'm
it?
not really 100% sure. It's just
Yeah.
I think it's like it's kind of like loungewear, similar to Scott Disick's
Yeah.
company.
Okay, I got you.
Just yeah, clothes.
And that was like every other thing, just normal.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I just approach everything the same. Like I don't really care who's behind it. It's just work for me.
Okay, so after the commercials, I would say the next step that you took was for acting, and I see you did something with Lifetime. Was there
Yeah, I
something?
did 2 movies.
Yes. So was there something before that, or that was the first
That was the first movie I
introduction?
did.
Okay, so you did 2 movies with them. How was that experience? Because at this point, you're already well informed. You're good in front of the camera. It's kind of natural to you. So what was acting like?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a really good experience. I just kind of got blessed because the director liked me. So actually, the 2 movies I did were through the same director.
Mm.
And the first movie I did, he said he really liked my audition, so he gave me a smaller part with just like 2 lines. But he said like the way acting works is you need credits to work,
Mm.
because it would be like a risk. Like if I'm doing a big movie and I like this kid, but he has no credits, it's a risk.
And it can work, but it's rare.
Exactly. So he helped me out by giving me his first credit, few lines. Then 2 years later, he contacted me, wanted to put me in his other movie, and I got to play a detective, and I got like a whole 2 scenes. So it's like that's how it is. It's just to come up like you do one small scene, the next thing you know, you do another scene with more lines, and next thing you know, you're like on a TV show or a movie. But
I've,
takes
I've always been. I apologize
no
for cutting
problem.
you off, but I've always been curious. How does this work? So, do you have to memorize the lines, or do you just go off the top of the head and you're basically trying to follow like a certain type of structure with it, or you actually have to memorize the lines when acting?
It depends, but typically you do have to memorize the lines, especially for like regular television.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes like there's improv comedy, like sometimes actors will improv. But
Okay.
majority, like 99% of the time, like the stuff you see on TV, like the sitcoms, it's a script.
All right. So, what is next? Can you tell us like maybe a movie or something you're working off that's coming up next, or you're more any gigs? Like, what's next?
I do have this guest campaign that's
Mm-hmm.
coming out. So we'll see where that goes. Cause you really never know. Like for example, like you'll do something and then sometimes it will come out in a different market, or B it will just never come out at all. Like I've done stuff for Coca-Cola. I did a Nike commercial with Zion,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm only in the screen for 1 second.
So
it's
you
just
met
like,
Zion.
no, that's the way it works. Like you could do for a commercial, they might have like 10 different scenes at 10 different
Oh, and they're
locations.
just piecing them together.
Exactly. So most of the time it's like not at the same location, completely different people. But basically Zion did this commercial with Nike, and they got a whole bunch of people that could like dunk, do stuff like that, and I was in that. But it's like you're only in it for a second. That's why I don't really like to hype things up in this world, because you never know where you could do something that's a big deal and then nobody ever sees it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you heard about the Batwoman movie?
The Batwoman. No.
So there was this Batwoman movie that they filmed recently, and they filmed everything. They did everything with actors, and it just never came out because the studio didn't want to release it. So that's why I don't like hyping things up, because I'm gonna hype this up and then it never gets released. I just like to wait for it to come out. You know what I mean? Because you just never know. Because these companies, they have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll film 3 commercials.
So this is the insider point of view, but go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Sometimes like if these companies have so much money, they'll be like, let's film 3 commercials and then let's just pick one. You know what I
So
mean?
that could be potentially be the one you're not even in.
Exactly. So they just pick one and you're not in it. So like you don't want to get hype about something. Be like, oh, I just did this commercial. Tell all your friends I did this commercial, and then it never comes out. So I
Okay.
ain't trying to be like, you know what I mean?
I was wondering because like you're subtle with your posting. You don't really go too crazy with it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're in LA, so you're probably always busy. So that's another question I like. So what's the LA life like? Because you hear a lot of different stories. What is it actually like?
I feel like it all depends on like what your intentions are. Like for me, it's pretty chill because like I said, my friends out there are people I work with. I want to make moves with my friends. That's just the way I look at it. Like I feel like, I love everybody, but I feel like it's such a big city that you gotta have your priorities straight, and it's easy to get lost in the lifestyle. But everybody's gonna have a different experience because it's so big. It's like
You would think normally, like I guess the thing with people that go to LA is like they come back changed, bro. And it's just so amazing, bro. Like I
That's
want to like
funny.
congratulate you on the fact that like you are literally the same exact
oh,
person.
you
Like
think so?
and you've went up like a lot of levels, but it's just like you're the same exact person. It's like I'm hearing you speak. You're humble. Like, where does this humble come from? Cause let's be like, all right, you do know like you could pop your shit. Like you could really like let people know like I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. Like, but you don't. So I just don't understand why don't you? Like even just a tad bit.
Because
Like
that's just not what I'm about. I'm not about like flexing on nobody. I want to build people up. I don't want to tear people down. So the only way that I would be flexing on someone is if it's to build them up. So that's why I don't talk about. Like if somebody asks me for advice, that's the only way I'll talk myself up, just because to help people out. Because that's what I feel like I'm here for. I feel like I'm here to help people. I'm not here to stun on nobody.
okay. All right, well, we can pivot off that. I understand that. It makes sense. That's why you're so far where you're at right now with that mentality. So clearly it works. Take notice. It's working.
I'm here to build people up. You know what I mean? It's like, everybody's at a different stage in their life. So it's just feel like why we should be able to work together. We don't have to be like, oh, I did this. I'm him. I'm him. Like, who cares? I don't care. I don't care who you are. Like,
I respect you for that. All right, but you have met some famous people. Is there anybody that you would, I don't want to say that's your idol, but someone that you look up to that you met? Or, like, what are some celebrities you met? Because you're in L.A., so it's natural that you're going to run into them.
I try not to idolize people. I don't really idolize
That's why
anybody.
I said that. Yeah.
But I met so many, like, cause when I started there, I started working at this famous hotel. It's called Chateau Marmont. It's basically where celebrities hang out. So I've met like Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake, Jay-Z, Brad Pitt,
A-list
Beyonce.
real fast. He skipped over. See, all right, my bad. I didn't mean to throw you off guard.
But I'll just be at parties sometimes, and I'll see like Dave Chappelle, Ray Shermer, and it's cool because it's just like we're just like sometimes I'm working, but sometimes we're just mingling, and I just see them, and I'm like, "What's up?" ASAP Rocky, pretty much everybody.
At this point, it's normal though. So like
Definitely.
you don't. Oh my God, it's like
I don't.
Okay, that's him. That's cool. Good to see you in person, I guess.
I look at everybody as peers. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what you've done. Like you're still the same as me.
Yeah.
I'll show respect to you if you show respect to me. That's how I feel. It doesn't matter who you are.
All right. Before we get off the modeling though, I'm kind of. Have you like out of the country anything like that? Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
I try to stay in LA because the acting industry is my priority. So
so you're kind of like trying to pivot, like literally, and make that your focus.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the reason why I went to LA originally. Like I could have went to New York, I could have went to London, I could have Italy, places like that, and worked a little bit. But I feel like LA, there's a huge network. So
definitely when it comes to music, movies. I mean,
movies, music, everything. So that's why I wanted to build a network there. So that's why I even feel like when I do go overseas, it can take away from opportunities over there. That's why I really don't even like to leave LA because it's like that's where the industry.
Have you been out of?
Yeah, I've been there like.
But more for what, like
just
vacation?
For leisure. Like, 2 years ago, I went to Paris, Barcelona, and Budapest, and I had a good experience there.
I'm sorry.
I had a good.
I want to go to Paris and like. I want to go to Paris.
I mean, you can.
I am. I already know I am. But I want to be. I want it to be like on the right terms where it's like I don't have any worries at all. So I want to just be able to, like you said, I like that word, leisure. I love that. That was the perfect word. All right, facts right there. So what was it like out of the country though? Because people don't get experience, and it's amazing to me because here I'm talking about like trying to go out of the country where it's like I've talked to people and. Like you said, I keep a humble mindset. It's like they haven't been out of Pittsburgh, and I don't like try to say it. Just doesn't make sense to me because like I've been out of Pittsburgh in various ways where it's like I've caught the train, the bus, the plane. So the aspect of you really don't know that you can. The train may take a lot of hours, but it will get you where you need to go. And same thing with the bus. So what was it like outside of the country?
I also feel like not everybody needs to leave Pittsburgh. I mean, you can and get an experience, but I feel like. No matter where I went, I was always like, I kind of want to be back in California because that's where my network is. That's where the life I built and over here. So it's like if I want to go on vacation, I'll go to Pittsburgh and see my family. It was cool going overseas, but it wasn't really anything that I felt like I would have missed out on if I didn't go.
So it's just like, oh, okay, I had experience just to kind of say I did it.
It wasn't just to say I did it. One of my friends wanted to go, and I was like, sure.
You didn't do no shopping, did you?
I did.
All right, where did you go?
I just went to like small businesses in Spain and Barcelona because
Because
I wanted to.
is it different down there? Because I do know they have the Louis Vuitton, the blah blah blah, all that stuff. But then I guess they do have the actual people that are like what's the word I'm looking for? Actual stylists that make like custom pieces. So did you even if you didn't buy it, did you see anything like that you were like amazed by?
Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
because I'm not really that into high fat. I like just like specific pieces, not
Mm.
like company. I'm not gonna just go to the Gucci store and just spend because it's like Gucci's never done anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I gonna be spending all my money on Gucci? You know what I mean?
When I clip that might go far, bro. You know that might go far.
No, but that's not saying anything against anybody
Yeah,
who
yeah,
buys
yeah.
it because it's like you should be able
Yeah.
to buy what you want. But for me, there's no reason
No
specifically for me to,
obligations.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about your personal life a little bit. You're extremely busy, and LA has a party life. So do you have time to date?
No, no, I
Not
don't.
really.
No, because I'm in a relationship right now.
Okay. Well, so how
But
did that come about?
so my first 6 years in LA, I didn't really have that many serious relationships,
Mm.
and just because like the people around me weren't really serious. Everybody's there to do something, and everybody's there to make a living. So it's like the relationships just weren't serious.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I'm in now, it's just been more serious. But I honestly don't even really want to talk about it that much because I want to keep it serious.
And again, uh, as an interviewee, I have to ask these questions. But again, I respect that because you see a lot of people talk about something or to talk about the relationship. I'm saying, like, keep it personal. Okay? I
Yeah,
respect
exactly.
that.
I mean,
respect
everybody's
that.
different. Something could work for somebody, but it doesn't work for me. And for me, I just feel like
Keeping it
I like
private works.
privacy.
It works the best.
Yeah,
Especially in the field you're in. It's not where it's like you could probably say something nobody has idea. They could piece together. Okay, I get it. All right, we'll get off that.
I've had so many relationships. The once social media got involved, things just started to go haywire. Once other people get involved, things go haywire. So, I mean, I'm sure things will, it will get talked about, and I'm
You
gonna have
can
to
give
talk
us
about it on
advice
social
though.
media.
So for someone that may be looking for in a relationship, what would be the advice you would give them?
I would give the advice is know what you want first. Like, do you want a wife? Do you want a mother? Or what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want. I don't want to. I'm not going to say nothing offensive because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody wants something different.
Different.
So if you want somebody who's going to be a mom, then maybe you should start thinking about qualifications and not necessarily being like this is that, but like a good heart,
Family.
somebody who's going to be loyal to you, somebody who that you can count on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's one of the most important part of a relationship. Everybody goes for looks, and looks is important, but at the end of the day, are they going to be there for you? Are you going to be mad when you spend 3 days with them? Are they going to get annoying? Because that's important.
Oh, that's deep. That's deep. It's normal, and it's like I said again. It's just you. You're not even trying to like spit and give like a great like answer. It's just you. You're just being honest. Okay, so you go from Pittsburgh to LA. I don't understand. Like, how do you make friends? Is it just through modeling? Because I guess
It's
that
easy
could be the easiest way. Modeling gigs.
LA people are really friendly.
Okay.
I could literally just walk down the street and make 3 friends. It's not like, here it's pretty cold, it's chilly, so you don't want to make friends when it's like I was just outside and I was like, I'm just trying to get inside. I don't even want to.
I see you. You were. It sounded like you was getting a little mad on the phone. I think I walked into the wrong
No, I
spot.
wasn't getting mad. I was just confused because I typed in 5919 instead of 5819. So I walked into a preschool. And I was like, is this the podcast? And she was like, no, but I think it's down the street.
Okay.
And then I looked at the address and I was like, oh, I just got a number wrong, but it's still in the right area. It was like right down the street.
So how does it feel to be back in Pittsburgh? Because I'm guessing like if you're in LA, Pittsburgh's phenomenal for a visit for your family and maybe to come back and like do something like this, reach out and help your friends. But what is it like coming back to Pittsburgh? Like the outside perspective.
Oh, I love it. But the reason I love it is because my people like you are here. I have my family, and anytime I get to be around family, and that's the best thing for me. Just be around good energy, family, friends. Yeah, so that was pretty much what I like about Pittsburgh.
Bro, it's just crazy to me. Like, I met you in Miller, and it was just like, I see you at like you. I wasn't expecting to ever see you again, and it's just like we met up, and every time it's just like in phases in our life. Like I don't know if you be noticing, it will be like it doesn't matter where you're at in life. It's like I always see you like once. Like you know what I mean? Am I tripping? It's like I always see you once and be like, damn, I ain't seen DJ in a minute. Bam, I see DJ. It's like every time I think about it, be like, damn, I haven't seen him in a minute. It's like you appear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's always a blessing to be able to see you, man. Seriously.
No, facts. What's the nightlife like in LA?
It's amazing, but it's so spread out, and it can get very exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
you got to know people.
If you're visiting, it's very hard to get integrated into the nightlife because there's so much to do, and you could do a lot of wrong stuff. Mm-hmm. And it almost gets so exclusive that there's almost not one great party. It's just like 5 exclusive stuff, after parties. It can be really cool, but it's one of those places where you really got to know somebody or you got to know what to do. You can't if you go there on a whim trying to find something, you're gonna be confused. It's gonna be hard. Mm-hmm. Not saying you can't do it, but it's gonna be hard.
Oh, bro. Again, it's just so good to see you. Like like not even just on the camera stuff. It's just like wow, your elevation where you have went, and it's crazy because every time like people will be asking me like, oh, who you're interviewing, and they don't understand. I have this list of people that I've had in my life that are just doing great things, and like let's be real, DJ. Like, if people haven't seen our pictures from years ago, they're not going to expect me to know you. They're going to be like, how does he know? Oh, I know him. We grew up together. Like, What do you mean? Like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, there's a picture of us in the Doubletree Hotel. Like, the night before Light Up Night. Me, you, Arn, Hakeem, and Darius. Yeah, either Darius or A. Facts. So, it's just... It's so great to see you. And you got any questions for me? I think we kind of got everything. Think I missed anything? Talked about pretty much everything you got. And you said you don't know movies next that you're doing. You said you are doing the Guess campaign. That's next.
Movies, yeah, I'm just auditioning, you know. So it's just like whatever. I don't have anything specifically I want to be in, or just whatever somebody gives me a shot and it's the right project. You know, I don't want to just jump on any projects because it can put you in a bad situation.
Definitely, you don't want to be into a movie that ends up doing bad. I guess you're right. But like I said, you had any questions for me?
No.
All right. Again, I appreciate you coming on. Definitely got to have you again, maybe with the crew. Like I said, to come like shed light on your platform.
Not to interrupt you, but I don't feel like I'm levels above anybody. I just feel like everybody's on the same playing field. People are at different stages in their life. I mean, I feel like I'm on the same level as anybody. So
I respect that.
I will never be above anybody.
And again, DJ, that's your humbleness speaking. But it's okay. You don't have to say it because I'm going to say it for you. He's killing the game. Come on. You're doing your thing. You can't say it just once. You're doing your thing. You're not shitting on nobody. You're not belittling people. But can I hear you say, like, I'm doing my thing, though. Like, I'm just out here doing my thing. That's all.
I have a lot more to do. You know, I'm just getting
I'll respect that. Okay. I can respect that answer.
You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I'm excited to see your progression because I feel like this podcast is amazing. You know, the whole setup, the quality is amazing, and the studio is amazing. So I'm grateful to be here. Yeah, I feel like
that's a blessing to hear you say that, bro. I appreciate that.
It's only up from here too, man. Seriously, I feel like this is one of the best podcasts in the city, and it could potentially be one of the best in the world. You know, in a couple years from now.
And people don't see it, but I see it.
I mean, I see it too, man.
I see it too. Trust me, I see it.
Definitely, bro.
But again, I appreciate you for coming on, and that's a wrap.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Same.
Thank you.